Clearly, by the time you get to Alba or to the county line to the south of us, at the south end of Charlevoix County, we have clear evidence that there is some capacity and fluid qualities within the zones become acceptable for use as an injection target.
You did answer my question about what fascinates me is what you talked about, the borderline to freshwater and the communication to recharge. And just in the Jordan Valley, we've been doing these studies of where does the water come from, and we're finding out that recharge from the surface is sometimes hundreds of years. And Dr. Hindman is actually saying that it's not really understood well about the communication between the saltwater layers and the fresh water above it, and that's just so vital because everything rests on potable water.
Oh no, I would disagree. I think there is substantial evidence to indicate that there is significant differentiation between the shallower freshwater zones and some of the deeper, quite saline zones, and a likely extended isolation between the waters present in some of those zones as you go down the column. So not to say that everything is 100% answered. I wouldn't want to indicate that, but there is clearly isolation between certain segments of the geologic column over even geologic time in some cases. Things are moving quite slowly in some zones, shallower zones. Some of the recharge is happening quite a bit faster than those deeper zones.
So we're going to start right now, guys. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome. My name is Leslie Patterson. I'm an environmental scientist with the United States Environmental Protection Agency. Tonight I'm serving as the hearing officer for this public hearing being held jointly between EPA and the Michigan Department of Natural Resources and Environment. With me tonight from EPA is William Bates, environmental scientist and author of the draft underground injection control permit that EPA has proposed to issue to Beeland Group LLC for a Class 1 injection well located in Petoskey, Michigan. Also with me are Hal Fitch, Chief of the Office of Geologic Survey at MDNRE, and Ray Vugrinovich, Senior Geologist. In addition, I would like to acknowledge that there are representatives here tonight from the Little Traverse Bay Band of Ottawa Indians, which has rights in this area. In a few minutes, we will begin receiving your comments. Oral statements will be recorded word for word by a court reporter. If you wish to make a statement at this hearing, please be sure you have provided your information at the registration table so that we may correctly enter your name into the hearing record. Our role during this public hearing is only to listen to your comments. We cannot respond to them or engage in discussion during the hearing. However, we will review all comments received at this hearing and in writing during the entire public comment period, and we will address all comments in a responsiveness summary. After considering all comments received, EPA will decide whether to issue, modify, or deny the UIC permit. That decision may be appealed to the Environmental Appeals Board by any person who makes a statement in this hearing tonight or who submits written comments during the public comment period. First, Mr. Vugrinovich and Mr. Bates will read their statements into the record. Representatives from the Little Traverse Bay Band of Ottawa Indians have declined to read a statement, so I will then begin calling on those of you who have checked on the registration form that they would like to make a statement and have it transcribed by the court reporter.
My name is Raymond Vugrinovich. I am a senior geologist with the Office of Geological Survey, Michigan Department of Natural Resources and Environment. And we have the following statement. Pursuant to Part 625, Mineral Wells of the Natural Resources and Environmental Protection Act, Act number 451 of the Public Acts of 1994 as amended, notice is hereby given that Beeland Group LLC, 1 Energy Plaza, Jackson, Michigan 49201, has applied to the Michigan Department of Natural Resources and Environment, Office of Geological Survey, for a permit under Part 625 of the Natural Resources and Environmental Protection Act. If issued, the permit will allow Beeland Group to drill and operate a well for the disposal of liquid waste. The proposed waste is groundwater from an ongoing remediation project. The waste will be injected into the Mount Simon sandstone, which is a confined, porous rock formation between about 6,000 feet and 7,500 feet below ground surface. The Office of Geological Survey, in conjunction with the United States Environmental Protection Agency, is holding this public meeting to receive public comment on the proposed Part 625 permit.
Good evening. My name is William Bates. I'm an environmental scientist with the United States Environmental Protection Agency. Beeland has applied for a permit to construct and operate the Little Traverse Bay Environmental Project Disposal Well, a Class 1 injection well in Bay Harbor, Petoskey area, Emmett County, Michigan. Beeland, a subsidiary of CMS Land Company, is proposing this injection well to provide a permanent disposal method for non-hazardous liquid waste currently being collected and trucked off-site for disposal from CMS's Bay Harbor, Michigan facility. CMS is responsible for collecting and disposing of recovered, treated, and untreated groundwater and surface water, commonly referred to as leachate, and stormwater runoff from its CMS Bay Harbor facility. In general, the proposed injection well permit cites the well's injection zone approximately 1 mile below the lowermost underground source of drinking water. Although the base of the lowermost underground source of drinking water in the vicinity of the injection well is believed to be the Traverse Group at less than 800 feet below ground surface, the permit proposes requiring Beeland to drill the well to a total depth of 7,500 feet below ground surface. The injection zone for this well is separated from the lowermost underground source of drinking water by shale and limestone formations. Fluid does not move easily through shale and limestones. With adequate thickness, shale and limestone formations are generally considered to be confining zones, preventing fluid on one side of the formation, such as injected waste fluids from migrating and threatening fluids on the other sides, such as drinking water aquifers. The proposed permit allows Beeland Group to inject only fluids from the sources that they have been approved by EPA. EPA is proposing approval of the Beeland Class 1 injection well permit containing the siting, construction, operating, testing, monitoring, reporting, and plugging criteria, which I have been discussing. Now it's your opportunity to tell us your comments on the proposed permit. EPA will consider all comments in making its decision to issue or deny this underground injection control permit to Beeland Group, LLC.
I will call the speakers in the order the request to speak received.
So if you guys can make sure that this well is put in safely and that there'll be a big enough bond in case there is problems done, that I would be willing to say ask for approval. The only thing I would make a statement is like the other permit is I still think that Bay Harbor needs to have the water problem taken care of that was in the quarter of 2005 to isolate, contain, and remove the kiln dust or to get the leachate stopped.
The Bay Harbor Community Council, whom I represent, does not object to the issuance of this permit, but we would like to ask a couple questions both to EPA and MDNRE. First, why is this option being considered given its low probability of success and the need for spending significant amount of money to prove or disprove the technology? And secondly, would EPA and MDNRE expend its financial resources towards pursuing the well, knowing the uncertainty of the geology and the fact that a proven process to treat the water, again, through the NPDES permit, has already been approved? We continue to believe that the NPDES permit offers the best local solution to deal with the leachate treatment and disposal. Thank you.
Prohibit injection of leachate that has not been pH adjusted from the Bay Harbor properties in East Park. These fluids may possess the characteristics of hazardous waste, specifically corrosivity. Require additional financial resources to close, plug, or abandon the injection well to ensure that the public and water resources are not at risk from a lack of funds. Require additional precautions with the surface facility to ensure that the surface waters are protected from any potential spill or accident due to the close proximity to surface waters such as Lake Michigan and Wallen Lake. With the above modifications, Tippecanoe Watershed Council would support drilling of the deep injection well and use of the well to dispose of the leachate collected at Bay Harbor Properties in East Park.
What we're given today is two decisions that are not very good. We have an option to put millions of gallons of leachate deep into the earth in a very expensive way for hundreds and hundreds of years, or we have an option to treat leachate for hundreds of years and discharge into the bay. The whole reason that this has come about is that there was relatively lenient enforcement back in 1995. And in 1995, many parties knew what had to happen in order to clean this up correctly, that it had to be isolated, that the CKD, the 2.5 million cubic yards, had to be isolated and contained. But this is where we end up so many times when proper regulation isn't taken on the front side. We're here today because the environment wasn't put first. I would just ask you to enforce the law to the extent that you can to protect the environment.
Truly in favor of an on-site at Bay Harbor remedy, whether it is deep well injection, on-site treatment and release into the bay, or a combination of both.
May I advise that after careful study here, I see no technical reason to oppose the drilling and completion of the subject well under a Part 625 permit and UIC permit. However, it is our understanding that no additional wells will be considered after this one well. Drilling any additional wells for any reason will likely generate significant new concerns and resistance from our community.
I've been asked to make a statement representing the position of Friends of the Jordan in this process. The Friends of the Jordan support the residents of Bay Harbor in Emmett County and the public agencies in their decision on the proposed Bay Harbor injection well. Friends of the Jordan does not advocate for or promote deep injection wells if it is found necessary or required by the state or federal agencies to dispose of leachate in a deep injection well at Bay Harbor. We do not object.
The Resort Township Board of Trustees have taken a position against drilling a deep injection well within Resort Township to dispose of the raw leachate collected along our East Park and Bay Harbor shorelines. The process of putting our waste where it is out of sight and out of mind is literally the same cause of the problem we are now trying to solve. We ask the EPA not to grant a deep well injection permit to CMS Land.
I don't think that we should have a well. I think we should have a full investigation of the EPA and the state of Michigan and why there was a permit given in the first place to build on top of this material. If the state of Michigan, if we could trust the state of Michigan, they would have not given them a permit in the first place to build on top of all this stuff. Now you're asking us to trust you here in trying to treat something forever, which should just be dug up, put in a clay pit, and capped.
My question is merely why, if this is a community concern, which we all agree it is, why is this forum in the middle of January when the population of this area is at its lowest?
This concludes the hearing. Thank you.